Turtle. I like turtle. I like turtle. I like turtle. I like turtle. Turtle. I like turtle. I like turtle. I like turtle. I like turtle. Tom beat. 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 Turtle. I like turtle. I like turtle.
All right, what's up, Turtle Riders? How are we all doing out there tonight? Good? Excellent. All right, guys, I went ahead and I shared this link to the Clarence Woods Emerson page, and I'm going to share it to the Uncle Turtleboy page in a moment, too. If you guys could share that up for me, that'd be great, too. Let people know we're out here, we're live. I think we're competing with Trump tonight. Not entirely sure. I'm going to bring on my guest here, Marc Randazza. I've had Marc on before. Marc is here we go. Marc is a rather prominent attorney who has had a lot of big cases. We had you on like 4 or 5 months ago, particularly around big tech. And since we've last spoken, I believe you've sued Patreon, correct?
Well, not exactly. It's a weird case. You know, Patreon, like every other horrible social justice warrior-owned tech company, has decided that, you know, if you don't fit the intellectual mold that they want you to be in, you're off. Mm-hmm. So they get this guy off, and now everybody knows, well, at this point, everybody's tried every way they can to crack through Section 230 when you're trying to sue a platform for kicking you off. There's just no hole in that armor. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Right.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay, cool. So for those of you guys unfamiliar with CDA Section 230, it's a word that's going to be thrown around a lot, so you need to know what it is. Basically, in a nutshell, it protects platforms from being sued for content posted by third parties. Like basically it's for comment sections. Like, so obviously the comment section on my website, TurtleBoySports.com, is a cesspool. I don't read it. I don't want to see what's in it. And if you write something libelous in there, I shouldn't get sued for it. That is the basis of what Facebook and Twitter get. They are platforms, so they cannot be sued for what is, you know, third parties post. Now the argument, which Republicans are pushing for, what they want is that they'll say that, well, once Twitter and Facebook start making editorial decisions about what can stay and what can go, they are no longer a neutral platform, and they have surrendered that. But that's not really how it works, is it?
No, not yet. Not at all. In fact, look, Section 230 was there accidentally anyway. It was part of the Communications Decency Act that Clinton signed into law to get porn off the internet. Oh. So, you know, how's that going for you, Bang Brother?
It didn't work out too well. Of all the presidents,
right. So, you know, so the fact is that this is what remained after the Supreme Court threw the rest of it out. And, you know, it was stuck in there so that companies, if they actually took porn down, wouldn't get sued by the guy who put it up.
Yeah.
So, you know, but it's really, the platforms have gotten to a point where they're not a publisher because it's somebody else's stuff. But then if they curate it down so it says something else, almost always they're still immune. And then you say that, you know, you have that super immunity. I mean, imagine if you gave Phillips 66 oil complete immunity for any oil that gets spilled going in or out of their tanks. You can only be held liable if it's like spilled while it's in the tank, which is impossible. You know, there'd be oil all over the damn streets and in all the water because they wouldn't care. So it's the same as these companies. But, you know,
the reason I wanted to have you on tonight, obviously, is let's talk about the big news of the last 24 hours, just dominating.
You said it was so attractive.
Well, yeah, that too.
All
Something
right.
like that. But So basically, the big story that's been dominating the news cycle, right, is that the New York Post put out a story yesterday, and it's pretty goddamn damning about Hunter Biden.
You know what bothers me about this story?
What was that?
You know what really bothers me about this story?
What? That he's being vilified?
The headlines should all say, "Who knew Biden was such a baller?"
What do you? I don't get it. I missed that one.
Look at the way this guy is partying. Hunter Biden.
No. I always said that to Jerry Callahan in the morning. He's like, Hunter Biden and scum. I'm like, they should raffle off a weekend with Hunter. Like I would put it, I would put some, like, you could raffle that off for a lot of money, a weekend with Hunter.
Put him front and center and say, if you vote for me, my son will party with you.
No, it would be a great weekend. It would be fun as hell. I mean, the guy is wild, and he's got, daddy's money. He can do whatever he wants with it. So basically, this guy, Hunter Biden, he got a job, obviously, working for some Ukrainian oil exec making $600,000 a year, and he's completely unqualified for it. And the idea here is that it was a favor for Joe, and that Joe would get the prosecutor in Ukraine to stop investigating this oil company, corruption, who cares, whatever. That's not even the issue here. The issue here is that this, right, exactly. Like, I mean, I didn't really care about any of the Trump Ukraine
stuff. You've been in politics 47 years. I'm shocked that you're not getting some kind of benefit from that. I mean, every single presidential kid has gotten some kind of ridiculous graft they don't deserve because of who their last name is. Fair enough. Go get a job at the Ukrainian oil, whatever the hell it is, for $600,000 a year when you don't know jack shit. That's okay with me.
Yeah, and basically, now this story comes around because I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Hunter had a laptop that he just dropped off at a computer repair shop and forgot to pick up, and then this guy opens up the laptop and finds all the shit.
Like, seriously, Hunter, my God. If your computer breaks, listen to me. As your attorney, I advise you. Your computer breaks, you know what you do? Just tear out the hard drive, throw the rest of it in the trash, and take that hard drive and bash it and burn it with a blowtorch and make sure there is nothing left of it.
Yeah.
Bring it.
What a rookie move on his part.
Exactly. How much could a new laptop be?
I mean, well, that's probably how he looked at it. It's like, yeah, fuck it. I'll just leave it there. He can have it. He probably
why did you even bring it there?
Because he's a fucking moron.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
but
even that is not the bad part of the story, right? We're getting to the bad part.
Right. So he leaves this laptop in the freaking place. The guy opens it up and finds, obviously, all these pictures in there, along with like emails that are pretty damning that tie Joe Biden, the dad, that he's aware of all of this, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Am I missing something here?
I mean, look, honestly, I don't want to be like the conspiracy theorist guy, but it just can't be that easy. Are you telling me? I mean, I would believe it if like the FBI had these pictures of him and they stuck it on a laptop and said, maybe we can get away with this. But unbelievable rookie move on Hunter's part. Just
and he didn't even the guy didn't even have to change the password for the email. Like, there's a million ways he could have safeguarded from happening. I mean, what the hell? So here, all these correspondence that directly implicate his father, like, it's a fucking gift. Like, this is literally, the FBI has had this for months, and they're down in NASCAR sending 15 agents to investigate a pull down noose.
Oh my God! Yeah,
like this is what they're doing with their time, and like this freaking layup is just sitting in their pockets, and they're like, yeah, whatever. So obviously, the New York Post gets this. This should be a big story, and it is a big story, and they put it out there, and Republicans are obviously excited about it. They share it, and next thing you know, Facebook acts first. Facebook decides that they are going to ban this.
Suppressed from circulation. Yes.
Yes. Just and
story. Now I'm mad.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Now I'm mad.
Okay.
I'm not mad that Hunter Biden got a job he didn't deserve. I'm not mad that Hunter Biden was so stupid he left his laptop at the repair shop with pictures of himself. I haven't seen him, but it's like he's with hookers and he's smoking crack, right?
I heard there's a sex tape coming.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen it, but I don't care what he's doing. I don't care if he's going full Marion Barry, okay? That doesn't make me mad. Yeah. What makes me mad is then some douchebags in the 650 area code decide that the proles can't see this.
Mm-hmm.
Now the big can of Costco size "go fuck yourself" comes out. Can I swear? I don't know. I didn't ask you.
Well, so here's the thing. So Facebook acts first, and this is the guy right here. So I actually profiled this guy today. He's from Westford. His name's Andy Stone. He's a typical, silver spoon little shithead his whole life. He went to George Washington. He grew up in a wealthy town, progressive parents. There he is right there. Like this kid had, like his life was destined from the beginning to like work for Facebook and hold the job he has now. He has worked for nonprofits.
Made the decision to suppress it.
Yes, he's the guy. Right?
You look at him, you could know he would do that.
Right. Like everybody who
I didn't know who that guy was, and I'm like, I know that guy didn't want us to see things.
Right. Like, this guy, and it's his elitist attitude about it. Like, so he's worked for various nonprofits, raised money for Black Lives Matter, various bail funds, Colin Kaepernick's organization. He was the press secretary for former Senator Barbara Boxer. He's worked for all these stuff. And so, of course, this guy is running Facebook. The most biased guy in the world is the one who gets to decide what stays up and what comes down at Facebook. And he goes on and he on Twitter and he announces this. He goes, I will intentionally not link to the New York Post. I want to be clear that this story is eligible to be fact-checked by Facebook's third-party fact-checking partners. In the meantime, we are reducing its distribution on our platform. This is part of our standard process to reduce the spread of misinformation. We temporarily reduce distribution pending fact-checker review. What do you think of that?
Meanwhile, go find. Remember that chick that Avenatti represented that said that Kavanaugh gang raped her?
Yeah, Julie Swetnick.
Yeah, go share that story on Facebook. Watch how it stays. They're not going to do anything.
How do you think Brett Kavanaugh felt reading that?
What's that?
How do you think Brett Kavanaugh felt reading that explanation? Oh, now, interesting.
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like you're saying that won't be shared. I mean, I always keep a few stories like that around to go test when they're like, oh, your account's not working for this, but it's working for that. Don't tell me this like it was whoops-a-daisy, or this was particularly harmful. Plus, who was it gonna bother? Like really?
So obviously, it's not gonna bother anyone.
Story, you friggin' horn-rimmed glasses. Unmasculine idiot.
Yeah, he's a complete maroon. And
idiot. You should have looked at that and thought, nobody cares.
Well, here's the thing. People do care. And I'll tell you who does care is the DNC.
There's somebody out there who's saying, I'm going to vote for Joe Biden, to be president for 45 days till Kamala Harris takes over. But I'm going to change my mind because Hunter Biden smokes crack with hookers.
I don't think it was the smoke crack with hookers part. I think it was the fact that Joe Biden lied. Like this proves that Joe Biden was lying about a number of things about knowing.
Lied.
What was it? Yeah, a politician. But Joe Biden's he's honest Joe. You can trust Joe. He's not like corrupt Hillary. He's clean. You know what I mean? Like he's got that aura to him. That's his thing. And now he seems just like another Hillary Clinton.
I don't think he would steal your wallet on purpose. I just think he wouldn't give a damn enough to remember that he had your wallet.
Yeah. well, so I'm reading this over and, I see, first of all, we this is part of our standard process. Do you understand how much misinformation is on Facebook and Twitter? This is not part of any standard process. They, like you pointed out, they didn't do this for the Julie Swetnick story. They didn't do this for the Russia collusion story. They didn't do any of that. They just let speculation roll wild.
As a rational person, it's all you can do to keep your mind limber enough to not go insane looking at the hypocrisy and screaming at even at your friends. What are you doing? How did you get this?
Well, check this out. So I go on his Facebook page, and you remember that Time magazine cover of this little girl crying? Can you see that picture?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so this was obviously a famous picture, and they're like Trump's inhumanity at the border, blah, 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 like these separating a parent.
Turns out he was smacking her with a ruler, right?
No, this whole thing was fake. No, in this case, the father was actually standing right there. It was 12 o'clock at night. They got woken up, And so that's why the girl's crying. The dad confirmed that, like, no, we weren't separated. Like, she was just tired. And the whole thing was a lie. And that yet here is this idiot, Andy Stone, using this image to raise $20 million for a Democratic super PAC, okay, on Facebook. And he's taking down content because it's misleading and hasn't been fact checked, except when he raises $20 million for based on fake news.
I'm appalled.
Like, what? So, yeah, like, obviously, so this is just Facebook. And then there's Twitter. Twitter has a completely different reasoning with this. Twitter went with the route of, was that the images contained articles include personal and private information like emails, addresses, and phone numbers, and that they were hacked. Okay, I'd like to remind people that like 2 weeks ago, the New York Times published Donald Trump's tax return.
Did they outsource the answer to Joy-Ann Reid? What the hell was that?
Yes. So Joy Reid, well, she's smart. She just said I was hacked and the FBI is investigating and I'll get back to you later. And then you never did. You know, so
Russians, right?
What was that?
Hacked by Russians.
Yes, hacked by Russians. That line never fails. So anyway, they go this whole, I was hacked route. Basically, even though there's no evidence that this was hacked whatsoever, and they decide that they're going to ban it completely from being shared. And they suspend like a lot of prominent people for the first time. And by the way, before we even get to those people, think how pointless it is to try to stop the spread of information on Twitter. Like, all I did was screenshot the entire story in the New York Post, throw it in a blog, and then I shared the blog on Twitter. Like, you can't you can't suppress information. It's impossible.
You can't. No, I shared it and said in every post I shared it in, every creative way I got to share it, I said, I just don't care about the story. I just care that they don't want you to read it.
Me too. That's the only thing that
I care about. But, it is, what chaps my ass is like, this is happening to the mainstream press now. Right. And, when it started, it was like, oh, we'll just do it to Charles Johnson. We'll just do it to Milo Yiannopoulos.
Alex Jones. They started
with Alex Jones. I'm like, we got away with that. How far can we go? Can we get, and today it's the New York Post and the president's like campaign Twitter feed. Like, that's it, man. Exactly what the fuck I said was going to happen. Yeah. I don't like being right about this.
Well, so many prominent people had their accounts in the last 24 hours, like prominent blue check conservatives. Kayleigh McEnany had hers. She's the press secretary of the president. Donald Trump has had countless of his own tweets either removed
or the election. They are fucking worried.
So that's what I want to talk to you about, because obviously this reeks of election meddling. From a legal perspective, what could be done?
Probably nothing.
Nothing?
No, because nobody wanted to step up when these companies were not so freaking powerful. Nothing. Like, no. But
here's the thing. Like Ted Cruz and Senator Josh Hawley subpoenaed Jack Dorsey today. Do you think anything will come of that?
No.
No?
What? No. Are you kidding me? Do you think just because their name has an R or a D in front of it, that they are not completely nose deep in the taint of that money coming out of
not those two. The two I just mentioned certainly are not. Hawley is a lot of Republicans certainly are. A lot of like the older Republicans who have been around. And I think Tucker's going to do a good job of outing those people and calling them out because they need to be called out. Every single Republican elected in the United States Congress needs to return every single dime they've taken from big tech.
Oh, yeah, sure. And, and Vermin Supreme is going to give us all a pony. I mean, I don't know.
But, like Hawley's younger and Cruz is even younger too. They get it. They're hipper to this stuff. They understand that this is bad for their party. Like, this is not going to help Republicans because 40% of Americans get their news from Facebook, like it or not. They just go on Facebook every day and whatever shows up on their feed, that's the news.
Well, what'd be awfully groovy is if the lazy sons of bitches at the antitrust division at the Department of Justice would show up to friggin' work, because this wouldn't matter if you broke up these platforms that are, I mean, 6 people decide what you see every day if you don't really make an effort to go see something else.
All right, so that's interesting. You say break up. What does that mean, though?
Well, look, I mean, it's not like we don't have a whole body of antitrust law. I mean, I would say that, Google's just as bad as any of them, split the from the advertising, have transparency, and if you have multiple, look, if you had 7 search engines that really competed, if one of them happened to want to suppress every single thing with a vowel in it, they could do that and, probably couldn't compete at that level. But if they said, hey, we're going to just suppress every single good thing that's ever said about the NFL on ours, or no sports on ours, or the other one says, no Republican thought allowed, period. I mean, look, this is not like it's just a liberal thing. The problem is that happens to be who's holding the ball right now.
Right. I mean, and they're holding it.
I banned from was the Free Republic because I dared to question the legitimacy of George W. Bush. It's just, but who gave a shit? Because it was the Free Republic. There were 500 other political websites to go talk on. Now, if you offend Jeff Bezos, Jack Dorsey, Mark Zuckerberg, Sergey Brin, you don't freaking exist anymore.
And that's scary, because like I said, we've just been conditioned to just go on these platforms. Whatever comes up, comes up. Whatever they give us, they give us. Now with Google, I can see what you're saying. You could break it up. You could have competing search engines. I think that would be healthy for everybody. However, I don't agree with breaking up Facebook and Twitter. And here's why, is that we need social media. Social media provides a very valuable service for us. It connects us, it unites us, whatever. You can't have 10 competing social media networks. You need one where everybody is at. You need that public square. So I think the answer is one of 2 things. And this is going to make me sound like a commie. I don't care. Like drastic times, drastic. Number 1, full nationalization. We should nationalize Facebook and Twitter. Or option 2, treat them like utilities. Verizon cannot listen to my conversation and say, oh, I don't like the things you're saying. That hasn't been fact checked yet. I'm going to shut you off.
Right. I don't know, man. Nationalization. I mean,
nationalization.
I'm all for breaking it up, but I don't know about nationalizing it. I do think, though, like I have a legal theory that nobody likes. I am like way out in the wind on it. But you know what? So is the guy who one day was sitting around going, we ought to sue the tobacco companies. So, or black people and white people ought to be able to get married to each other. Let's bring Loving versus Virginia. That was a crazy thought at one point. So, but there's a case called the Pruneyard case. And it was from California where somebody wanted to protest in front of the local shopping mall. But the Pruneyard shopping mall said, no, you can't do that. This is our private property. He said, but there is no more town square. You're it. This is the only place I could do that. And he won. Now, that was interpreted, really under more of the California style of the Constitution. So I don't know that it would work now, but I think that such logic could be applied to some of these platforms, that once you get to the point where you are the town square, you're going to have to start acting like it.
Right. And that's what I mean by nationalization. Like the public square should not be privately owned. That's my point.
Or you can privately own it if you want, but you've got to let all the public use it.
Well, how do you can't make it, but you can't, how do you make them do that?
Well, it would take either an interpretation of the law consistent to what I've said, which, hey, I've tried to sell this to judge after judge. Nobody's buying it. I'm going to keep trying.
Do you think, now let me ask, do you think it's because judges are older? Do you think younger judges might better understand this?
Well, look, if I'm wrong on the law, I'm wrong on the law. What you have to do is redraft the law. It would not be that hard to change Section 230. And I think in part because they've been so arrogant, they can't have nice things. But I just don't know that the political will would be there to actually amend Section 230. Because if you've got Facebook, Google, Twitter, and Amazon all against you, boy, what do you have?
You got your
Green Party candidate then.
Yeah, basically. But here's the thing with breaking up. So you eliminate, let's suppose you get rid of Section 230, right? The argument with that is if I'm Facebook, I'm just shutting down completely because I'm going to get sued every fucking day. Right.
That'd be awesome. You know what's so funny?
But that would not be awesome because I like Facebook.
Well, the only
use Facebook
with Section 230, the entire planet functions without it. I don't think it would. I don't think it would cause them to shut down. It might cause them to change how they do business, but there's also a middle ground between repeal and amendment. I think we have the DMCA, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. Okay, that protects copyright. So if somebody posts a defamatory statement in your comment section, that's not your problem. But if they post a copyrighted image there, that could be your problem unless you have a registered agent and you agree to take it down upon notice. Well, and if you can look at it and say, no, that's fair use. Screw you. Good luck. Yeah. And guess what? There's prevailing party fees in copyright cases. Section 230, you could amend it almost to make it an anti-slap law. It would be fantastic. But nobody's going to do that because Facebook doesn't want to get regulated, and neither does Google.
You want to hear something fucked up? I'm going to pull a little audible here. So I haven't gotten, this is about mail, okay, and mail and voting and stuff like that. I don't know how you feel about that, but I haven't gotten mail in my house in a week, and something's up here. Like, what the fuck? Why haven't we gotten mail? So I go down to the post office, and I speak to the postmaster down there, and they say somebody has changed. You got a change of address, it's being forwarded to another address. I'm like, what? How do you do that? And they're like, somebody has to come in. You don't even have to come in. You can just fill out a form and you can put it in any mailbox you want. And they're like, and you signed it. They're like, what does your signature look like? I'm like, it's a fucking signature. Like the difference between I'm so against signatures. They're the most outdated things ever. It's like what my fucking signature looks like.
Right.
Yeah. And it gets forwarded now to they give me an address in Roxbury, 6 Fenno Street. You know who lives there? This chick, who?
No, Ayanna Presley.
Close. This chick, Monica Cannon Grant, that I've written about 1 billion times. The most racist.
What?
Yeah. My mail for the last week has been forwarded to Monica Cannon Grant's house. I just found out, like one of my arch enemies. Now, I don't think she's sharp enough to do that herself. So some fuckhead is just playing a joke on me.
You got to admit that's a hell of a prank.
But why the fuck is it so easy? That's insane. That's insane. It's that easy.
You got to admit that's funny.
Yeah, it is. I mean, well, it'd be funny if a turtle rider sent me fucking cash, a cash donation in the mail 2 weeks ago. Thank God. It was 2 weeks ago.
Don't do that.
Yeah, but big mistake. I agree. Luckily, it didn't happen, but God knows what has come. I get sometimes cops send me confidential information in the mail because they don't want anything electronically. I get shit in the mail a lot.
I saw her opening up a package. I drove by her house and she was opening a penis pump. Yeah.
Right. Well, people are asking in the comments, is that legal? No, it's not fucking legal. It's a federal crime. But I don't even know. So I call the Postmaster General's office today, the Postmaster Inspector today, and I tell them my story, and they're like, "Well, we'll get back to you." It's like, no, I need to speak to somebody right fucking now. Or I need because you can't go to the police about it because the mail is its own fucking private entity. And I'm just
do you know who I am card?
No, I should. I don't know. I don't think they like that. But my issue with this is that all I thought about is the election, and I told the woman this on the phone. I'm like, not to get too political with you and all, but Donald Trump has been railing that there will be widespread fraud, and I and the media doubted that, and that's fake news. Here it fucking is. What if my ballot was being sent to me? What if I'm waiting to fucking vote and I don't get the ballot because it went to Monica Cannon Grant's house and then she votes for Ayanna Presley for me? Then what?
Oh, dude, that's
fucking crazy, right?
Yeah.
So that's my audible there. That's my audible about mail. But it just seems like this is just yet another example. All this tech shit. None of this would be happening if Hillary had won like she was supposed to.
I know. I'm sometimes I wonder if it would have just been better.
I think that too. Sometimes I'm like, then it's
because sometimes when you're fighting with a woman and you're just like, oh, for fuck's sake, fine.
Yeah.
And you don't care what it is.
Yes, I do.
If I had known we were going to have to go through that as a country, Like the guys might have all gotten together and go, dude, just fucking let her have it.
I know, dude. Just let her have it. Yeah, but you know what? It's about not. It's like I'm almost worth it. It's like if this is what they want, I'm ready for it. You know, I'm ready for war. Like whatever, we can do this. You want to fucking send my mail to Roxbury? Go right ahead. We too can play that game. We'll see what comes of that. But it's just fucking crazy that it's that simple. You know, like that our mail can. Like I'm like, so I can just do this to anybody I don't like, and then she goes, yeah.
You just gave a bunch of miscreants an idea, though. Now, like 10 people listening to you are going to do this.
But I'm like, you know, so I'm like talking to my poster. I'm like, never again. We're staying here for a bit. Just understand that if you got a change of address on me, something's up. That's not normal. Like it's fucking crazy, you know. So and now it's also going to take. They said like, so I've got it fixed. That they're no longer going to send the mail to Roxbury. And I'm like, so when am I going to start getting mail? They're like, oh, in 7 to 10 days. The fuck?
Days.
So like you can't just no. So it's a different department. It does this and that.
You got to go over to Monica's house and knock on the door. You better bring some pie or something.
Oh,
like, hey, I think my mail might be here.
Yeah,
a lot
of pie.
Like not one from Shaw's. I mean, not like a
not a nice one.
I mean, or a nice one. Maybe you two get along. You go to the North End, you get something really good.
Oh, God, no, we can never get along. We can never. So yeah, I mean, here's the thing. So I don't know how this ends. I just feel like this can't go on forever with big tech. Like eventually something has to give here. Like it can't. And you know what I'm so sick of with conservatives is this fucking. We're our own worst enemy with this. Oh, free market, or just build your own platform, or go to Parlor. That's my favorite. Go to Parlor. I went to Parlor. No one's there. So it's not very fun. Like, so I don't want to go to fucking Parlor. I want to go to where everyone's at, and that is Twitter and Facebook. And it's like, oh yeah, I should just build you like Mark. Imagine somebody just said to you, like, oh, you should just build your own roads and schools. What?
Yeah. Honestly, building a Twitter competitor ain't that hard. And if they would stop doing it on political basis, they'd do a lot better. Look, Parlor. Go get all the porn stars on there. VHS versus Beta, man.
Good point.
Beta was better, but VHS had all the porn. All right? Tech innovation for porn.
What's VHS, like tapes?
Oh, yeah. Remember that? You don't even know what a beta tape is, do you?
What's a beta tape?
They were these tapes that were better. And when VCRs came out, Jesus Christ, is this really happening to me?
It's happening right now.
This is happening.
Discussion about VHS porn.
Yeah, well, look. There was a time when we didn't know if VHS or Beta were going to win, and VHS it had better movies, better quality, but VHS had the porn, and people were like, "Oh my God, I can go watch porn at my house. I don't have to put on a trench coat and go to that fucking theater where I'm going to catch molluscum contagiosum from the seats." You know?
Yeah, the Paris Theater in Worcester, classic establishment. That's. I mean,
the Jefferson Theater.
That's actually a good point. Porn could definitely attract people to Parlor because Twitter is the only social media platform that allows porn. A lot of people don't know that. There's hardcore porn on Twitter. It's completely uncensored. The rest of them,
man. Dude, I sued against a guy. We caught him. We managed to serve him because on his Twitter feed, he literally jerked off onto a dildo and crammed it up his ass in his yard. And we were able to figure out where he was from looking at the pictures of his yard. And like within 12 hours, we had the guy served with the lawsuit.
Why?
The guy fucked himself.
Well, in more ways than one.
Yeah.
Why were you suing him?
It has nothing to do with that.
Okay, but he gave himself away by shoving a dildo in his ass in his yard. That's how he gave himself away.
Yeah. My mom's real proud of me right now.
You have an interesting life.
I think she's watching.
So, I mean, I'll tell you one guy who could fix this immediately is Donald Trump. Not even legally. He could just say, the most ironic part about this is conservatives whine about tech censorship on the platforms. Right. And then Donald
Trump says, I'm going to Parlor and closing my Twitter account.
Oh, what would happen?
Or, there would be quite an implosion there. Or you have, he also could, I think he legally could direct that government agencies have to use a platform that's politically neutral. I think we could do that.
No, that's a good point. And I've brought this up before. The platform is a civil rights angle, right? Because like and civil rights or whatever the hell we decide they are, like there's nothing in the Constitution that says black people get to drink milkshakes at the same lunch counters as white people. Like that exists because we enacted it. We demanded it be so, right?
Yeah, the Civil Rights Act. Yes.
Right, we made laws. So you can make laws that could make platform access a civil right, couldn't you?
Yeah, you could.
Mean, what's to stop any, like, suppose the Massachusetts.
Yeah, well, not exactly, because do think about the private property aspect of it. I can't say that somebody has a right to use somebody else's property. I think it requires a little more creativity than that in the law, just to conform. You don't want to break the Constitution to save the Constitution. But,
yeah, but so how do you tell that to, like, the guy who has to bake the cake? How do you do that? I mean,
look, I think that case is, I think it's completely wrong that he has to bake the cake.
Okay, so how about the Civil Rights Act? You're telling a privately owned restaurant you have to let black people come in here.
Right.
It's the same thing, isn't it?
Well, no, because they're places of general accommodation. Like, you don't have to let a black person live with you. I mean, in fact, if you have a small apartment building, you can racially or whatever way discriminate you want.
You can?
Yeah, if it's like you're sharing the residence with somebody.
Okay.
I see. Do it. I don't know. Look, it's not my area of law, so I don't want to talk.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm getting at here is, like, so if say the Massachusetts state legislature passed a state law that said all residents of Massachusetts have civil rights, platform access is a civil right for them. And then hypothetically, if that passed and the governor signed it, and you were on Twitter and you got kicked off for political speech, you said something that they didn't agree with.
Preempt it.
What was that?
Section 230 would preempt it.
What do you mean?
Section 230, because of the supremacy clause in the Constitution, Section 230 being a federal law would outrank state law.
So what would happen to the state law? What would happen to the state law?
It just would not apply except to platforms perhaps that only operated in the state. But even then, I don't think, no, even then, Section 230 would still trump that. Yeah, Section 230 is the blockage in the colon, my friend.
So how hard is it to get rid of Section 230?
You have to have the political will to do it. You have to have enough political will unified in the same direction. Because let's say you can manage to find 51 senators that are willing to let the other 49 senators have all the money from Silicon Valley. And then they're just going to go on their good looks. Then you get all 51 of them. They have to agree with changing it the same way. That factionalizes one time and you're dead.
Yeah.
So, do we change it? Good luck, man.
Like, well, here's the FCC. The guy, I think there's only like three guys in the FCC.
He's an idiot. He's an idiot.
Well, this is what he says.
The FCC interpreting Section 230, who has the same amount of legal authority to interpret Section 230?
Who?
Roger Goodell.
Okay. How so?
Or Ayanna Pressley. Or the guy digging through the dumpster out behind Dunks in Quincy right now. All right. It's of absolutely no legal effect. You see that? The chairman of the FCC's opinion on Section 230, that and like a bidet, and you can have a clean ass.
So this is just meaningless.
It's meaningless. It's garbage.
Interesting. I mean, it's going to be interesting when so Josh Hawley, who's like, the youngest member of the Senate, hopefully he runs for president in 2024. He has been all over this shit today in the last 24 hours. He's been way ahead of the game, and he's calling them in front of him. And here's him and Ted Cruz right here. They're calling him in front because I think they get it that, like, this is fucking political suicide on the part of Republicans, because whether or not they want to admit it,
they already committed it. All these guys, these are the people rising up who didn't get killed by the lawnmower, by like everybody got killed except a few of them who were laying in the dead bodies, and now they're standing up going, oh shit, what happened? This war is over. Like, the information war is over. They won. The conservatives can't do anything about it at this point except tuck their head down and wait for some other medium of communication to take over.
That's bullshit, though. You know, you got to fight. You got to come up with something. You have the power right now. Like, you have the Senate and you have the president, and you might not have him for much longer.
Look, if the president anything about this, he should have done it.
Oh, was that guy? I'm sharing the link, guys, to the fundraiser. If you guys want to donate, by the way, feel free to donate right there. I'll read off your comments periodically. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, look, they should have. I saw this coming like before 2016. It was like, this didn't just start in 2016, but in 2016 they really kicked it into gear. Man, this is. I mean, what are you going to do now? They just censored the New York Post, and there's nothing you can do about it.
That's fucking crazy. The new, like a year ago, it was, it's just Alex Jones. Now it's a newspaper that's been around longer than the New York Times.
Yeah, fuck, I represent Alex Jones, people. You know? Like,
yes, that's right. You've represented Alex Jones. And so,
I represent
Alex doing, by the way? How's he doing? You talk to him at all?
I do. He is saying, look, people are always a little shocked at this when I say this, but he is it might hurt his reputation for me to say it. I don't know if I should, but he's a really nice guy.
I like him. I think he's funny.
Good guy, like in person, like the camera's off and nobody looking. He, then even when, he is a really, really nice guy. Yeah.
So let's talk about, I want to talk about one more thing while I got you here. So you were in the news recently because I'm going to bring up the article here. A student, you are representing a 12-year-old, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
And his name is Jackson Cody. And Jackson. What are you representing Jackson for?
This kid was in his class at school. Teacher asked, "So who here supports President Trump?" He raises his hand, as a couple other kids are kind of slowly raising their hands, and the other kids put their hands down real quick. When the teacher went at him, and said, "Well, I thought I liked you, Jackson," and then asked,
this is
how
remotely. This is like remotely. This is happening.
No, this is in the classroom.
When was this?
Geez, what day is it? Thursday. Yeah, was it this week?
Gloucester's back in. They're back in school.
Oh yeah.
Oh, must be nice to live in Gloucester.
Yeah, not every day. It's like some kind of hybrid thing going on. I'm not really that up on it, but
yeah. So they asked they asked the kids, do you support Donald Trump? And this one kid raised his hand, and the teacher said what to him?
Said that, I thought I liked you, which certainly implies I don't like you now. Yeah. Child, man. And then she said, that he was a racist and a pedophile, and how can you support a racist and a pedophile? And I guess he also told me that she said that any woman who votes for Donald Trump is a disgrace, should be ashamed of herself. And it's like, and he said, well, my mom is going to vote for Trump, and and my whoever, named other family members. So it was really like, if this kid, look, this kid has got like a mind like just like a supercomputer. I can't wait for this kid to graduate from law school. And
how'd you find this kid?
Man, these things find me. If you're looking for there's not very many people left who do First Amendment law, and
so
the ACLU bailed on that, back about 10 years ago.
The ACLU came through for me big time because the Rhode Island.
To be honest with you, your case is very unusual for them these days.
I think I lucked out because it happened in Rhode Island. It's a small state; they probably have little to choose from. And mine was a blatant act of censorship by a judge that was just open and shut First Amendment. And I got lucked out. I don't think it would happen if it happened in Massachusetts. But this guy, so this kid, now, this kid, here's my question about this one. You weren't there for this incident. Isn't this just going to turn into like a he said, she said?
No, it's actually, it's so nice to have a case like this where everybody was reasonable. Like, there was a screw up, but the school system was really good about it. They got my letter. They called me. They said, okay, we're taking this seriously. Of course, the next day he went into school and a different teacher said that she was having a terrible day, to leave her alone, because the only good thing that happened to her that day was Donald Trump got COVID. Which, you say to kids, like, what's the matter with you?
Oh, yeah, there it is. Having a bad day, and the only good thing that happened to her today was that Donald Trump. But my question, like, what in a
kid taught compassion at school, you know?
Like, do you have like witnesses, or is this if it's a teacher's word against a 12-year-old, they're going to believe the teacher, right?
I don't think there's been any. Nobody has denied any of this, and we've resolved it. No, this thing got resolved really fast.
It's over
because look, to his credit, Jackson and his family said, I said, look, what does winning look like? And they didn't want money. They don't want anybody fired. You might notice I'm not even mentioning the teachers' names, because that has been our choice, because, according to Jackson, we're not liberals. We don't do cancel culture. I don't want to shame anybody. He just wanted the school to agree to train the staff better.
Wow.
And you know what? On the 13th, 2 days ago, they did it.
Wow. They really did.
No, yeah, they look, you got to give them credit. I mean, I still think there's probably more of a systemic problem. This isn't the last you're going to see this happen. But I also feel like, they this time they jumped at it. They did the right thing.
Yeah, I mean, I get stories like this in my inbox every day, and it's becoming more and more apparent with Zoom. These people get caught doing it and stuff like that, just shaming kids. And if he wins again, the day afterwards, wait till you see the stories that come in my inbox that day. It is going to be fucking insane.
I know it. Who do you think's going to have more riots if they win, though?
Who do you think is going to get more riots?
Yeah, who's going to who will have the bigger? I mean, I guess in the alternate reality where one wins and the other wins, which alternate reality has more riots?
Oh, Trump winning, no doubt about it. There won't be any riots if Sleepy Joe wins. Who's going to riot if Joe wins?
Oh, I think they'll riot.
Who's they?
The same people are rioting now. I think Antifa will still be throwing bricks through windows and trying to cause shit. They're not going to be happy. They never.
If Joe Biden wins, the radical faction of the Democratic Party is going to demand, okay, now we're in. Now get the Green New Deal passed. Now do this. Now do this. Now do this.
Right. Yeah, if we don't do everything we want, we're going to set fire to the cities again.
Yeah.
And I think Trump is probably being restrained right now. I think if he gets reelected, that there may be cleaner streets in Portland and
I think he's going to win. I don't believe any of these polls. I've said it before. I don't like when Quinnipiac puts out a poll and says that Trump is losing by 7 in Georgia. If I'm running that poll, I take that poll and I throw it in the fucking trash. There's no way Donald Trump is. If you want to say Georgia's close, that's one thing. Donald Trump ain't losing a fucking southern state by 7 points. It's not going to happen.
I mean, I've also seen, I've seen Republicans posting maps with New Mexico red. That ain't ever happening.
That's not going to happen either. But Georgia
is permanently blue.
Yeah, Nevada or New Mexico, because Nevada's close.
Oh, Nevada's close. Yeah, it's very close, but no, they got the Culinary Workers Union sewed up, man. And they can just march them into whatever poll they tell them to go into and do whatever they tell them to do.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing about this time around is that it's not white people are the ones who have turned on Donald Trump. Latinos and black people in polls are significantly more in favor of Donald Trump than they were 4 years ago. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. Worst racist ever.
I know, the most racist president in the world lost all the white people, and he's gaining Latinos more than 50% now in some polls are voting for Donald Trump. That's insane.
You know how many people voted for Barack Obama twice and then Trump?
Oh, a lot. There's a lot of people in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin in particular.
A lot of people, because you know what? The same reason. Obama was at least let's try some shit we ain't never tried before. Let's see how he does. I mean, there was a lot of that. And Obama was a party darling, but he was kind of an outsider. I mean, let's face it. The guy had been in politics for 15 minutes, Now, that didn't bother me. I don't like that sounded like a cure for a problem, not a symptom of a problem. Now he learned.
I'm one of them. I voted for Obama and Trump.
Yeah, I mean, real quick, the party put their arm around his shoulder and said, "Look, do you want your great grandchildren to ever have to work, or do you want to be your own man?" And he was like, "Yeah, fuck it. I think I'd rather have 7 generations of people getting statues built to him."
Yeah. Hey, by the way, I just want to thank a couple of people here who donated to the cause, kept the turtle running here. We got shout out to my guy Lionel Meeks. He says towards a better chair. I like this chair, Lionel. It's old school. 7 pounds says great content as always. Here's some cash to buy a bunch of ramen to make Josh jelly. Vote Rayla, vote Trump. Brittany says I love Rayla, but if her husband is going to constantly talk in the background, he should come on. I completely agree with that one. Okay. Are you familiar with Rayla Campbell, my new darling from District 7?
No.
She's running against Ayanna Pressley, probably one of the safest seats in the country as a write-in candidate.
No, I know her. Yeah. She's awesome.
Yeah, she's fucking crazy. She's like badass. Like I've never seen a politician before. Yeah, so she's
the videos with her. It's been awesome.
Yeah, you saw the protest videos? Yeah, she's fun. She's very fun. So, all right, why don't we open it up to any question? If you guys have any questions you want to ask Mark or I, go ahead, fire away, and then we'll call it a night. Because what time was Trump on tonight? Did I miss it?
I have no idea.
I'm not watching it. If it's not a debate, I'm not watching it. That's what I said. I'm not watching that town hall. People are saying he did good, though. I don't know. All right. Let's see. Hopefully, Maine turns red. I thought Maine could turn red initially, but if you believe the polls, it's looking bad. If you believe the polls,
fucking hippies there now.
It's just Portland carries that state, And
nothing named Portland.
Yeah, nothing named Portland. Nothing good ever came out of a place called Portland. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, I wouldn't say nothing good.
Yeah, people said somebody asked who is Mark. This is Marc Randazza, guys. I've had him on before. He's an attorney from Gloucester, and he's also licensed in Nevada and a couple other states, right?
Yeah, Nevada, California, Arizona, Florida.
Mark is sued. You've sued Twitter, Facebook, Patreon. Anybody else?
It's not the backup quarterback's jersey, M-Job.
No, it's a specialty made one.
Yeah, so this is Jordan Rushy. Can you see that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Jordan was a hell of a First Amendment lawyer, a very good friend of mine, former law partner of mine, and he passed away a couple weeks ago at the age of 38. He was a huge Eagles fan. So I had this made because I was pulling out a suit to wear to his funeral, and I said, you know what? Fuck that. I'm going in an Eagles jersey with his name on it, and I've decided to wear it for the season. Yeah. So
hey.
You got a problem with that? Fuck you.
I think we're good. I don't think there's too many sports fanatics here.
Fuck you, but fuck anyone who's got a problem.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got. If somebody asking me, are they investigating the mail thing? Yeah. I mean, once the inspector general gets back to me or whoever the fuck is in charge of that, if not, I'm just going to the cops. I'll just go to the cops and have them deal with it. Cause I will get retribution to this. We will find out. At least we're going to try to find out how to do this. I'm going to give it a shot.
You should get a billboard outside of her house that says, "Where's my mail?"
Well, it's not even her. She's not crafty enough to do it. Like somebody who follows me and knows my story and my animosity with her is just doing it to fuck with me. Clearly she's not smart enough to do that. She's not crafty enough. Somebody said there has to be a way to trace who did it. I don't know if there is, because I feel like the mail is so fucking crazy and unorganized, which is why we should not have mail-in voting. Like about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago, there's this guy, Mike Gaffney. He's a former attorney, a former ally of the blog, if you will, city councilor in Worcester, who lost his marbles. He sued me. I won because he sued me for libel. It was bullshit, a waste of time, long story. And to get revenge after he lost to me, he makes this flyer up. And on the flyer, it says Aidan Kearney is like living at this address in Holden, and he's been accused of sexually assaulting children, like all the shit. It's a picture of me and my wife's face. They list my wife's work on there and her work contact, all the shit. There's 17,000 people live in Holden. Every single fucking house got that flyer in the mail on a Friday. It must have cost whoever did it $15,000 or $20,000. And I know it was Mike Gaffney. No one else would do that. Like nobody else would fucking do that. And it's just like, and I called the while they were coming in, I'm like, can you stop sending these things out? Like I got fucking people put my address out there and shit. And they're like, nope. Like the post office just does whatever the fuck they want to do. There's no oversight whatsoever. It's the most corrupt organization, but that's my post office rant. Let's see.
Dude, I don't know if you want to make all those postal workers mad at me like that.
I know.
Workers.
Yeah. I mean, they were on to something with Seinfeld. Like the Newman character was so accurate. Like that is the mail.
See, I got a mailman down the street, and it's like in this little tiny village of part of a town, and he's the highest ranking federal official there. You know, he's a good guy. Always, I know one mailman I like.
Let's see what else. I could have sued him for that. I mean, but good luck proving it. I mean, that's the thing. It's like anybody can sue anybody, but I'm not going to waste my time suing people that I can't defeat. In court. So it is what. Let me ask you something, Mark. So get this.
Yeah.
So about a week and a half ago, so I left Shepherd Hill when I was teaching there, and I signed a separation agreement on the way out that says specifically that they can't talk about what happened, and I can say whatever the fuck I want, but they can't. Basically, I can't sue them unless they violate this agreement. And on the agreement, it's like they can't publicly talk about. No agent of the school district is allowed to talk about this. So fast forward 5-6 years later, I'm no longer. What was that?
This is where you used to work?
Where I used to work at Shepherd Hill. Yep. And a teacher there goes on a forum on this Oxford town page and says, Aidan Kearney used to work at Shepherd Hill. He used to be a teacher here where I am now. And he was fired for sexually harassing a young teen girl at this and this. It was just blatantly libelous, whatever. And I'm like thinking about this and I'm like, didn't he just violate the separation agreement? What do you think of that?
Well, is that true?
Oh yeah. It says in the separation agreement, no, I can send you no agent of the school district can publicly talk about this. And he wasn't working there at the time. He works there now. And he literally,
but is he just making that up?
Completely making it up.
Completely. Okay. So it's not like, so maybe you got fired for like not putting the milk away.
Oh, I wasn't fired at all. That's the thing. He's like, that's the other thing. I wasn't fired. Like not only did I leave, they paid me.
I don't know. I don't know if it's a violation of the agreement or not. Again, ask me a First Amendment question.
Okay. Yeah. I know you're a First Amendment guy. If you know a guy I could talk to about that, I am interested in pursuing that because I feel like school districts are in the business of settling. Like they don't want to litigate. So they might, I don't know. It's not like I'd be suing some schmuck with, some pro se idiot with no money,
Yeah. Unfortunately, you know what? I know a guy in Gloucester who would do that case.
We'll talk.
No.
Yeah, you're a First Amendment guy. All right. Anything else, guys? Any other questions you guys have before we call it a night? Let's see. All right. My college roommate. Okay. Is his name Orlando? No. I don't think the Orlandos are going to be hiring. Yes,
that was the joke I was making.
I get it. No, I don't think I'm going to be hiring them anytime soon.
I actually like Joe, but
the young one or the old one?
Both of them. They're like my great grandmother or something was in Orlando. I think we're actually cousins.
Really? I mean, you guys are both you're Gloucester people. You're lawyers in Gloucester.
I mean, we're Sicilians from Gloucester. That's like twin brothers to Irish from Holden. Yeah.
I'll save my thoughts on them for another.
That's all right. I know you guys don't get along. It's okay.
You know the history.
I know.
But I'll tell you one thing. I called their bluff and I won.
Look, you're allowed to not like him. He's allowed to not like you. I'm allowed to like you both regardless.
I don't think they knew who I was before that. And so like, they're probably like, they sent Howie Carr got the same letter and he did not want to run with it. So Howie contacted me because he knows all, you know what I mean? So, like, I'm not intimidated by people like that. And they found that out, but
right.
Anything else, guys, before we call it a night? Any update on the Rayla incident? No, I have no updates on that now. How about Gaffney's threat? Yeah, I mean, I get this guy, Mike Gaffney's threatening to sue me again. So here's the thing. How about this? I have a woman who came to me with Mike Gaffney. She's alleging that Michael Gaffney raped her, right, when she a while ago. And so I insinuate that in a blog that a woman has come forward and made this allegation. I made sure it's alleged this what this woman's saying and blah blah blah. And now he's threatening to sue me over this. Can you sue somebody? I mean, could that anything come of that?
Probably not, but I mean, I got to look into the facts.
Right. It's a little more kind.
I feel like Amy Comey Barrett here. Well, I can't answer hypotheticals, Senator.
Yeah,
but
if that was the case, then Brett Kavanaugh would be the richest person in the world.
If what happened?
If you could sue everybody who accused you of sexual assault, Brett Kavanaugh would be the richest person in the world.
I mean, Brett Kavanaugh would actually probably have a pretty decent case, but once you're already Supreme Court justice, that's
a bad look. It's a bad look.
Right? Yeah, it's like being level 40 Pokemon. What do you care? You got nothing left to prove.
It's a good point. Good point. All right, guys. Any more? Let's see. 958 question above. Ask it again. If I missed the question, just ask it again. Let's see. Does Mark know about lawyers licensed practicing in Mass living full-time in Florida? I mean, you can do that, right? You can live in another state full-time.
I know all about this.
You are. I mean, that's what you do.
I was licensed in Massachusetts first. Then I moved to Florida, took the Florida bar exam, wicked easy. And then I was waiting for I got the results, but I wasn't sworn in yet. So I had to wait for my file to process. So in that period of time, I actually used to fly. I lived in Florida. I used to fly to Massachusetts to work because according to the Florida bar, they said, no, a Massachusetts lawyer working on a Massachusetts matter that has nothing to do with Florida, but sitting in his house in Florida doing it is committing the unlicensed practice of law. Now, I thought that opinion was a bunch of shit. And I was like, that would be really fucking fun to take them to the Supreme Court over. But I also thought, not today. I'm trying to get into this bar. Last thing I want to do is get like a bar complaint against me while I'm trying to get into the bar.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean,
really fly back to Massachusetts and go visit my parents, and go work on stuff, and then fly back to Florida and not work.
Yeah. Somebody just called you F. Lee Bailey.
Yeah.
Didn't F. Lee Bailey get in trouble at the end of his career?
I'm always in trouble.
Yeah, but I think he got in like jail trouble. I think he got in big trouble. Yeah,
he
he's
lost
one of the OJ lawyers.
He what?
He's one of the OJ lawyers.
Yeah, he's pretty badass. I think he lives in Maine now.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Anything else, guys, before we call it a night? Okay. All right. I think we're about good here. So I thank you very much, Mark, for joining us this evening.
Oh, yeah.
Good conversation as always. Keep up the good work. We'll talk soon.
All right.
All right, man. I'll see you.
See you, everybody. Thank you.
All right, guys. So appreciate all the donos, everybody coming on and joining us. And we will see you all this weekend for the next episode of the live show on Saturday night. All right. Peace, Turtle Riders.